Welcome! We're here! We made it! Welcome to the Vape Hot Tub. I am one of your hosts. I am BlackCat. Today, Mr. Charlie with me, and we have a guest. Charlie,
hello, everybody.
We have a guest today. You see that?
Hello. Hey, how are you?
See who I got? Big time. Told you. Show's going
big time.
We got big time now. This show's going national. I'm telling you, cable companies are calling right now, trying to get the rights to the Vape Hot Tub.
The Kardashians are probably making sex tapes, just getting ready right now, trying to keep up with us.
You made a sex tape, Charlie?
With Kardashians, huh?
Did you make a sex tape this week? Now, Charlie, first off, let's start now.
Kanye's calling me. Hang on. Let me answer this.
You got somebody calling you?
No, it's Kanye. Kanye was calling.
Kanye, where you are.
All right, before we get started, Charlie, now you went to a convention this week, correct? Was it an adult? You went to an adult convention? Is that what happened?
No, stop trying to make me into that kind of person, Scott. I'm conservative.
I gotta say, Charlie is not an adult entertainer. I keep telling people that, but he's not. He's not. So I know I keep saying that, he's not really. All right, well, welcome, Miss Brittany. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
That's very exciting. You're our first inaugural guest here in the hot tub.
Yes, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. Thank you.
Nice and warm, isn't it? Nice
it is.
Bubbly.
Yeah.
Now,
it's nice.
I was told that that Heavy is a big dude.
He is. He's really big. He's really big.
If he
like, how are we talking big? Like tall? Like
tall,
wide?
I'm talking like size, yeah, tall, like strength wise,
hey,
yeah.
You just said he's a really big
out of the gutter, please. It's a PG show.
Yeah, he's really tall. He's really tall. Yeah.
So if he asks who you're in the hot tub with, it was just Charlie.
I was with Ron Jeremy and a cat and a cat.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Ron Jeremy. That's hilarious.
Ron Jeremy, dude, you never have more fun than in a hot tub with Ron Jeremy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Damn sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so let's go around the room. Does anybody got anything new that they want to show off before we get started? Charlie, do you want to start?
I don't have it with me. I've been on a road trip and I ran in from the car. It's still in the car, but I did get a PAL 2 pod system.
Nice. How's it vape?
Good. I'm still testing between that and the Orion. 5 days into it so far. So we'll see. I still like the Orion better, but the PAL 2 is pretty nice. It's it's like a miniature billet box in form factor.
I was just going to say that. It looks like a billet. Do they have interchangeable doors and all that yet?
No, but they could, because the door is very interchangeable if they wanted to make one.
Yeah, it reminds me of a billet. I love billet boxes. I don't have one just because I can't drop the cash on one, but I do like those. Those are cool looking.
I have one, and it's nice. The craftsmanship is freaking amazing. It really is.
The billet box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the rebuildable head for it?
No, that's why I don't vape it every day. I'm going to get a nice atomizer, but that's the reason I don't vape it more is because I don't have a nice rebuildable Addy for it.
Nice. Brittany, anything new?
I did. Actually, Heavy gave me, I've been wanting to try a pod, like a little, just because any ones that I've tried, I've never really liked them. So he got one in for a review, and I don't know if I can show this or not, but it's called the Renova Zero or something. It's super cute and like shiny, and it's like a rainbow color.
Nice. It looks like it feels good in the hand.
It does. It's smooth and it's easy for me. I mean, like if I'm sitting at my desk at work, which I don't vape at work, it's bad. Don't do it.
I do. Right at my desk.
It's easy. Right. It's easy.
Dude, it looks like
draw activated, or does it have a button?
No, it's just a pull. You just draw it.
That's awesome.
Yep. I mean, it's got a button down here. Like I guess it's a 1, 2, 3 on, 3 off.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That looks like is that like the Asmodus one? I'm trying to think because I have one upstairs that's all like almost identical to that.
It almost reminds me of that carrot that he got that he hated.
Yeah.
He just threw in the trash because it had like it was weird. It was black on the inside, but it was like a rainbow color on the outside. So it sort of looks like, I mean, it's what it reminds me of that.
Okay, so I did get something new. I got it yesterday. I actually wicked it up and did everything yesterday. I got the Ardent.
Oh, I love the Ardent.
Do you guys have one yet? Do you guys
I have one, yes.
I feel like a freaking Power Ranger.
You do. You look like Gandalf. So the I had no clue. I wasn't planning on getting one, and Dermont Dillon sent it to me, and I'll tell you what, it is the best mech combo I've ever had in my life. Mech RDA combo. Of course, it's fit right to it. It fits perfectly and sits on it perfectly.
That hybrid
is
nice.
So smooth, man.
Yes.
It's a fantastic RDA. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Dermont, for getting it. I am enjoying it thoroughly.
That's awesome. He sent it to you.
Yeah, Dermont's awesome. We like him.
Oh, dude,
we like him.
Coolest dude ever, man. Like
we were just talking about it last week. What did he do? Just freaking send you one?
He did during the show, Charlie.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That was fast. Like, beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Dude, and we've been having it was like Martin Luther King Day, so we missed a day of shipping, and we've been having like crazy snowstorm. Wow. Yeah.
Knowing Dermont, he probably paid like some mailman on the side to bring it through the blizzard.
You might
to your house.
All you gotta say it's going to the BlackCat, and they heard
knew.
They know.
They know.
VIP.
That's the way to be. That's the way to be.
I'm big time.
Exactly.
I don't know if you knew that. I'm big time here.
Yeah, well, you have Little Shrimp over here, so I had to come on the big time show.
All right. Well, hey, Brittany, again, thanks so much for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you on here. And I'm a big fan of your show. I love the Vape Lives.
Thank you.
You guys have great. I'll tell you, you guys have really the chemistry between you two is really great. What happened to gosh darn Amy?
Amy, she has like
back?
She may. We're not. She says she'll come on when she gets a chance to. But her work schedule, and she's had people working at her house, and it's just been so loud and so crazy over there that she really hasn't been able to come on. So we're hoping later on down the road, when everything gets situated at home and with work, that she'll be able to come back on.
I hope so.
I enjoy the Vape Lives a lot.
Man. She's funny.
Yeah, and she's
funny.
Y'all have a good time slot, so it's a fun show to just kick back and watch.
It is, and we all get along so good. Yeah. I mean, and me and Angela, like, we have the same mindset, so we really get along right.
You know, and I'll tell you from experience, like, I hate Charlie, and he knows that, and he hates me.
For real?
No.
Yeah,
I was like, why are y'all on a show together? Oh my God!
Charlie and I talk pretty much every day. I talk to Charlie about as much as I talk to my kid.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's the same with Angela. Yeah, it's yeah. Okay.
I hope I'm less of a screw up than your kid.
Oh! Shots fired. Hold on. What's that? I told you I have you on your own volume. I can just mute you right out, Joe. Take you right off this fucking show. Don't tap me.
I know what a talented tattoo artist he's got.
Oh Christ! Did you hear about that, Brittany? Did you hear about my
No.
Oh Christ! Yeah, he got a tattoo. I don't know what it's of. It's absolutely terrible. It literally, it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Did someone like just do it with freehand, or were they just
freehand, free brain?
It's one of those teenager things where
he was fucking. The guy had to have been wasted.
It's not that horrible, but it was one of those things where his parents were like, "Look, if you want a tattoo, we'll get you one of the best artists to do your tattoo." And he was like, "I don't need my parents. I'm gonna get one of my friends to do it on the side."
Yeah. It's like, I've been on this earth for 45 years. Like, I know people who do all kinds of things. Like, you need a mechanic, you need a doctor, you need somebody who does tattoos. Like, I know people. Like, not personally, but I mean, I know who they are. He ends up going to some guy in, like, this part of town that's kind of crappy and, like, sat at a kitchen table, and the guy gave him a tattoo. And it's, like, it's on his arm. It's right here. I'll send you a picture. It's horrible.
Gosh, I'm going to have to see it.
So, we're gonna
is this... Did he pay for the tattoo?
Yeah, he paid, like, $200.
I remember the conversation we were having the other day when he was in the room. Couldn't he have put that towards what he was trying to get?
You know, yeah, you would think so, right? You would think so. We actually started, like, his mom, we started taking money from him every week, like, so that he can, like, we can try to keep money away from him, like, save for something, because he has something he has to buy. What we're talking about.
Exactly. Jesus.
All right, so let's jump right in. Now we got a few topics. Believe it or not, we actually have a few topics. We didn't want to come up with nothing when we had Brittany on. We wanted to be as professional as possible. We didn't want to just like show up and be like, "Hey, Brittany, what's up?" And then just sit here and like not talk. We didn't want to like sit here and not talk. So what's going on? Nothing. Oh. No, we wanted to be professional, Brittany. We prepared for this. We really did.
That's wonderful. That's good to news.
So there's a little bit of news going around this week regarding a review that was done, and this isn't just on that case, but what it does. The question that came to my mind when I saw it was two questions. One, what constitutes a review of a product? And I mean that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, in our and when I'm talking about our lane here with vape products. Not only that, but does a reviewer, and when I say, I'm going to say a large reviewer, and when I refer to a large reviewer, I'm saying over 5,000 subs.
Okay.
That's what I consider a large reviewer.
Of course,
5,000 subs. That's a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So anybody over 5,000, do they have a responsibility to do a review a certain way to a certain level, if that makes sense? So let's kick it off. So Brittany, since you're the guest, why don't you start us off?
Okay. My 2 cents, it's my opinion. You know, people might like it. People will probably dislike it. I mean, if you say you're going to do a review, actually go through, tell me what's up with what's going on with the product. If like I'm coming to you to know what to buy, I want to know what the product can do. Yeah. Don't half-ass it. Yeah. You have to take sort of like feelings of the person out of the equation. If you're going to do a review, you need to actually do it from the heart and not from, and like how you think you feel about it, not how you feel about the person. Number 2, it's their channel. They can, I'm on the fence of both ends. Yeah. It's their channel. They can do what they want to do. They can review how they want to review. And it just depends on us, the viewers, how we look at their channel. So I'm stuck. Like, I go ahead. Sorry.
I think so. First off, I agree with you. I think that, there has to be a certain amount of information if you're going to call something a review. I mean, you could always call it a user experience. Be like, I didn't fucking like it. That's a user experience. Okay.
Exactly.
You didn't like it. Okay, I get it. But if you're going to call it a review, I think that, by definition, you need to kind of explain what it is, and kind of give the dimensions of it, give it the performance, like what are the options, the things with it. I think the big thing that you touched on, which is something that is leaving emotion out of it. You know what I mean? Because if you really, really like something, you got to kind of tame it back to be like, this is what it is. And then you can kind of give your editorial or your summary of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's a fine line, I mean, to go through. What do you think, Charlie?
I think it's a tough question, but in my opinion, I think reviews should be a personal opinion. And I think review style is that way too. I don't always agree with reviews that I see or the way a reviewer reviews a product, but at the end of the day, it's their decision. Mm-hmm. And I watch reviews from different people because I like different points of view. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people I support, whether they make one good review or one bad review. You've got to look at people overall and what their contribution to the industry has been. And you watch their content and decide if that's someone that you want to watch and support. And if not, it's okay. But in my opinion, I don't want to see just cookie cutter templates where everybody does their review exactly the same way.
Exactly. I apologize, y'all. I've got a cold. I'm coming back from a cold, so my voice is sort of crazy.
I want to cover one more thing, though. With that being said, in my opinion, the biggest responsibility that reviewers have is to keep things unbiased.
Yes.
And I think that reviewers should get paid for the time that they put into it as a professional reviewer, but you've got to keep things unbiased regardless.
Right. You can't pick and choose. This person made this product, so I don't like them, so I'm going to trash them.
Right.
You can't do that.
I don't want to see some personal grudge in a review or drama in a review or anything. I want to see the product stand on its own.
Right. If you don't like the product, honestly, I don't like the product. This is my 2 cents on it. This is my review. You know, I'm going to show you why I don't like it, or I'm just going to say, hey, I think it's shit. It's not worth my time to review it.
Right.
But, you know, because there's also going to be 30 other people that are reviewing it.
Yeah.
And they could either have the same opinion or they could have, they love an opinion. I mean, and that's how it is. Not everybody has the same opinion. So, like, I don't like open airflow. So anything that has open airflow, I have to cut it all the way down. Like, it's just not for me. Whereas Heavy, he loves open airflow. Like, he wants it wide open. And I don't like it. Like, I say, turn it down for me. And he's like, no, just do it. And I end up choking and dying, you know?
I'm right between yeah. I'm right between you two. That's so funny.
Right.
So, you know, okay, so like I think that depending on the size of the channel, and, you know, I think, like I said, I think a large reviewer is 5,000, but I think, like, once you get up to, like, you're looking at, like, a mega reviewer who's over 100,000. I mean, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of eyes on you. And then you have, like, the elite channel that's, like, 1 million. You know what I mean? Right. So, like, when you get up into those ranges, like, you almost have to leave all emotion out of it because
right.
Yeah.
I hate to say it and to sound, I don't want to sound dramatic, but, you know, this is somebody's livelihood. You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, if it's their product and you know, and say they put a bad product out and you don't like it. I think it's okay to say the negatives of it and rate it, but I think you really have to leave, like, any kind of emotion out of it, especially at that level, especially at that level. You know?
And here's what I wanted to add that kind of goes along that level is, if you're passionate, there's going to be some emotion, but regardless, and this doesn't just go for vape reviews or even reviews, but when you state your opinion and you give it publicly and someone's watching it for your opinion, you need to give some backup for why you reached that opinion. Don't just make a review and say this is a shit product, but tell me the things that you don't like about it.
I mean, I can understand, like,
or tell me the things you do like about it.
In his video, he said he didn't like it the way it fit in his hand. Okay. I have small hands too. And this is my opinion. I like the way it fits in my hand. It can go this way or it can go this way just fine. You know, I can use my thumb and do it, or I can turn around and use my pointer and hold it. To me, it's comfortable, but to someone else, it's freaking uncomfortable. I like,
yeah,
just like some people might like long straws. Some people might like short straws. Someone might, you know, it's personal preference.
And even if it's a product that a lot of people like, that I don't want to see a reviewer freaking lie to me.
No, I don't either. And I know there's tons of them out there that do, and that's what sucks.
Comfortable in the hand. And tell me the things. I want to hear both sides, but I don't want a reviewer to be scared to tell the truth or to be scared to tell someone he doesn't like a product, because I don't want to end up with just infomercials.
Yep.
Where, yeah, this company paid me to bump it to the front of the queue, so I'm not going to say anything negative, kind of a thing.
Exactly.
There's
and there's people like that.
That's exactly the problem, Scott, is a very delicate balance.
There's a delicate balance, and I think you get to a point, and I'm not saying anybody's names because that's not what it's about, but what I'll say numbers. There's a point that you get to as a YouTuber with subscribers, and once you get up past a certain, say, 200,000, 150,000, you can kind of say what you want. Because you know that you're going to get product regardless. Because you've got enough people that watch you, they're going to send you product. But until you get there, you know, if people are sending you product for review and it's not money out of your pocket, you know, you're cautious. And I even felt that way when Asmodus was sending me stuff. I felt that way. I talked to you about it, Charlie. I was like, dude, I hate this product. I hate it. And I was like, I don't want to review it because I don't want to, you know, I don't. And I reviewed it and I said I didn't like it and I haven't got anything since. And so, you know, it's like you have to be careful. So I think you know, ultimately the best thing would be is if people just bought their own stuff and then reviewed what they bought.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not how it works. So at some level, it is kind of a commercial in a way because it does get it out there. And, you know, so that has to play a part into it as well. But leaving emotion out of it and going through and, like, if you're going to call it a review, go through and, like, show what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. Like, don't say, hey, I'm going to put my review up and you're, like, talking just shit about it that you're not even explaining what you like or what you don't like.
Right. But I will say that, and I've said this in the past, everybody has bad days and every review is not going to be the best. And in my opinion, when there's a bad review, the best person someone can do, I know I've seen Mike do it because I gave him a lot of respect when he did it, was come out and say, look, I made a mistake, or that wasn't my best review, or I'm going to do an update because I forgot to mention so-and-so. And I just think that's important because people do have bad days. And I think that being straight up with it and understanding that not every reviewer is not going to nail every single aspect of a product.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, people do have bad days. And I'll tell you, especially like 90% of us work regular jobs.
Yep.
Come home, do a review. You know, somebody may have called you a dick or you had a bad driving experience or something. And, you know, something may tick you off and you add it to the review. And it's hard, man. It's hard to like put that face on every day.
Right.
And be, you know, the person you are that people expect you to be on YouTube. So
yeah, that's true.
So without beating it too much, I think we kind of got there. Now, Brittany, we watched Heavy's show last night. And Heavy mentioned something about Spencer. I think it brings up a really important topic, pretty much for all of us who have kids. You know, I have 4. And Charlie, you have, you know, we all have kids. So it's like, you know, it's something that's really, really important in this day and age. And did you kind of want to talk? Did you want to touch off on that? I don't want to lead you into it.
Yeah, we can. That's fine. I'm an open book. We can.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah. So Spencer got caught at school with a vape monitor device or whatever.
Yep. He did. He brought, supposedly he brought one from home. I mean, obviously he did because, you know, we have access to them. He got caught with it. Some kid told that him and his other buddies, they were over there vaping, and which, you know, I'm thankful for that kid because I want to know what my child's doing. Yeah. If he's doing something wrong, I need to know what's wrong. Yeah. And I hate that he got caught, but I love that he got caught because that's the only way to learn from your mistakes is to get caught and get in trouble. I mean, y'all have all seen me in Heavy. Like I'm not so much a discipliner as he is. And like we try and teach our kids, vaping is not good it's better than cigarettes. It's better than smoking, but it's not good for kids. It's not a toy. It's not cool. It's not fun. It's for people who are trying to quit smoking. Yeah. Now, I started vaping because of a whole different reason, but that's besides the point. But, so yeah, I was like, why did you take it? Like, what made you want to take this to school? You know, he's like, well, my friend, there was peer pressure, you know, they were pressuring me all to bring it. And 2 of the kids said they were going to beat my ass if I didn't bring it. I was like, you know what? You should have whooped their ass for telling you to bring it, to tell you what to do with your life. Right. I was like, this is your life. You are the only one that can make your decisions of what you want to do. Are they going to buy your food? Are they going to buy your cars? Are they going to buy your shoes? Are they going to pay for your house that you live in? And everything that you need, what can they do for you? Right. Not a damn thing. Nothing. They can sit here, laugh with you, be your friend, you know, hang out, whatever. But if your friends are sitting here saying, I'm going to whoop your ass if you don't bring one, that's when you cock them in the mouth and you say, you're not my friend anyway. Right. I mean, that's how I feel because, and Spencer, he is, I feel like, you know, all the guys that go shoot up people and they're like, but he was such a good kid. You know, Spencer, he's a great kid and he's sweet and he's kind and he doesn't want to hurt a fly and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to get hurt. He does not, he's scared to get in a fight. And I feel like he did that because he didn't want that altercation, you know, with another student. But I was like, Spencer, your friend ain't going to do shit. You ain't going to do shit. Y'all going to turn around and be not doing shit, you know? So the best thing to do would have been like, hey, Mom, so-and-so said that he was going to beat me up because I didn't bring a vape to school. And I would have been like, okay, let's go handle this because we've already had it once with one of his friends, which is one of the kids that said he was going to beat him, that tried to steal from us when he was here. So, excuse me.
So this last night's show really hit home to me. I was actually in the hotel and was going to dinner and was going to watch the rest of the show on my device. And the thing with Spencer came up and hit home with me. I ended up not even going to dinner last night.
Wow.
But I texted Jennifer because we have a kid around the same age and I've had the same fears and concerns. And I know Brittany and Heavy and how they raise their kids, and Spencer is just a really good kid. And my youngest is a boy or close to the same age, and it's hilarious because he's literally the biggest kid in his class. Not fat. He's the tallest kid in his class by 6 inches, and he's stout. He's strong. Luckily, he doesn't bow up to me because I would hate to have to fight him, kind of a thing.
Right.
Especially in a few years. Kid, but he want her to fly, and having to get in a fight would be one of his biggest fears. And a few people asked in chat last night when that came up, the peer pressure thing, and if Spencer was just trying to shift the blame. My first thought is, I bet he was way more scared to tell his dad that happened. Because,
yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah, he was walking away from a fight, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And
right.
Someone else live his life, kind of a thing. Then
because
the blame.
That's what Andy told him. He was like, if you would have whooped his ass for telling you that he was going to whoop your ass if he didn't bring one, this whole thing would have been different. We'd be sitting here eating ice cream, and you'd be getting a high five for standing up for yourself, because he does not stand up for himself. Like, he would let everybody run him over rather than stand up for himself.
I had that problem just because I was non-confrontational in school up until about the 4th grade. And finally one of my mentors was like, you're going to have to tell them that they're just going to have to kick your ass, and you're going to have to throw fists in there. And my mom was always the type that you better not start a fight at school, but if something comes your way, you better damn well finish it.
Exactly. See, I wasn't a fighter. I wasn't. Like, I got in one. I got jumped by 2 girls, and it wasn't even so much of a fight. It was like a hair pull. Girls' fights are a little bit different than guy fights. But Andy is. Like, he has been a fighter. Like, that's what he grew up around.
Yeah.
So I see things differently.
Yeah, it just really hit home with me, because that's been my biggest concern is I know that our child, several of his friends, we found out that they were using Juuls, and I've even talked to some of the parents, and the parents find out and allow the kid to keep using the Juuls because it's just a vapor. And my opinion is, regardless, through the teenage years, and especially early teenage years, the brain is still developing. And the last thing that we need to do is put drugs into it, just because I know the science behind the psychology up to the age of being a young adult. So I'm against kids vaping for that reason, for one. But I hate to have to lock up my vape stuff, but you almost have to. And it makes you pay attention to advocacy more. And as much bullshit as the FDA stuff is, and this youth epidemic, it is a problem that we need to consider.
It's a huge problem.
No other reviewers have dealt with it, and the worst thing that we can have is have a kid grab a mech mod or something else and take it to school. And to me, it's kind of like guns. You need to be able to have your kids in the house without your guns locked up all the time. They need to have that respect, but there's got to be a level of trust there, and you can't be stupid with it.
Yep.
I think, for the couple of things you touched on there, one, the FDA starting this whole saying it's an epidemic, making it the forbidden fruit, just absolutely infuriates me. It really does. And there's a whole market, there's a marketing scheme that works this way.
Of course.
And it really works well. And I'll tell you, children right now are, and I'm sure that's exactly what happened to Spencer. It's like his kids are like, oh, you got vapes? Oh, you got vapes? Like, oh my God, I want to see one. I want one, da-da-da. And it's just that constant thing. And the other part of that is how dire a situation seems to an adolescent, to a child. Like, to me, exactly an adult, you're just like, oh, well, whatever. And you just kind of move on. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But to a child, like, that whole interaction just seems like such a critical thing. Yeah, and getting in a fight is such a critical thing. That it's like, it's like, you know, and that's why you hear kids doing stupid shit because they
Right.
get pressured into doing it. And I can remember, you know, I can relate. You know, cigarettes were big back in the day when I was your son's age, and like I can remember, you know, smoking and like, you know, stealing cigarettes from my mom and going out to smoke and giving them to my friends because I thought it was cool. And you know, you just do things because you want to be cool.
And that's one of the things that I
want
thought
people
of.
to like you. You know, everybody wants everybody to like them. You know?
I wasn't a real young smoker, but there was a lot of us kids around the same age in the neighborhood, and there were some other kids who were smoking real young, and the kids whose parents were smokers, the other kids would put pressure on them, like, "Hey, go get a few cigarettes out of your parents' pack." Or,
Yep.
When you come out tomorrow, you better have some cigarettes with you.
Yep. That's exactly right. And, you know, I hate hearing that vaping underage is an epidemic. It's not an epidemic. It's an issue. It is because kids are getting it. You know why? Because it doesn't smell like a cigarette.
Yeah.
You know, they can sneak it easier than cigarettes. And it sucks that that's the way the kids feel about it. And honestly, if a child was going to smoke cigarettes or vape, what would y'all want them to do?
Oh,
not want them, because you don't want them to pick either one.
Right.
But what would you prefer them to do?
Yeah,
Right.
Vape.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's something that all of us think about for sure. As vaping.
Right.
when my son was, you know, we found out my son was smoking when he was 17, and his mother, her father passed from complications from years of smoking, and you know, so it's a huge issue around our house, and that was one of the biggest reasons I quit was him dying, and you know, so when we found out he was smoking, you know, she talked to me. She's like, you know, he was, I think he was about 6 months away from his 18th birthday. And it was like, can you give him something so that he'll quit?
Right.
And I was like, you know, I kind of think about it. And I'm like, you know, is that responsible? Is it not responsible? And
Right.
it's like we came to the conclusion that he was going to continue to smoke unless we intervened and did something.
Right.
And, I gave him one of my Infinexes.
Yeah.
Nice.
He quit smoking. He doesn't smoke anything now. He
Oh,
just
wow, that's
stopped
good.
smoking. He doesn't vape, doesn't smoke, doesn't do anything, and he's, you know, almost 19 now.
Right.
So
Right.
it worked. I mean, you know, it might have been. It was one of the pods I gave him. I can't remember exactly which one. So don't like go back and be like, Infinex wasn't around then. It was one of them. It was one of the ones that I had.
What aggravates me about the whole FDA thing is, yes, some kids are vaping, but you know what I see all the time? Kids still smoking cigarettes. You know what else I see in school? Drugs. You know what else I see in school? Alcohol. You know what else I see? Pills, popping, sharing. Everything that they can do to get high or make them seem cool, they're doing. So it's not just vaping. It's getting a bad rap because they don't want us to be vaping anymore. It's taking money away from the pharmacy, you know, pharmaceutical companies, from everything else. That's the only reason why this is bad.
The hardest argument to defend is one that you're harming women and children.
You can't defend it.
Yeah, you can't.
Children.
And it's used by people in power with everything from war all the way down to vaping and other commercial reasons. And it's used against us for that. But when you read the FDA's own study that they put out, where they said, oh my God, 78% vaping has increased in these age ranges by 78%. 78% it sounds like a huge number. And even some of the people involved in advocacy that I talked to when that study came out that hadn't broken it down took that as 78% of kids are vaping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you read their study and you read the numbers, it's a 70% increase. So in other words, if 2 kids were vaping and now it's 3 or 3.7, then you got a 78% increase. And so when you break the numbers down, it was actually more like 4% of the kids in that age group had tried a vape in either the past 30 days or the past year. So they use that against us and they make it into an epidemic. But when you read that same exact study that they're using against us, kids drinking and driving, kids involved in fatal accidents, and kids involved in drug overdoses, and binge drinking and texting and driving fatalities are all much worse, much higher rates than any kid who's tried a vape. And texting and driving or alcohol, they're not making into an epidemic.
Yeah.
Or the pharmaceuticals, while opioid addiction is becoming an issue, they're not putting near enough of an effort into. And you got to remember, the FDA approved OxyContin because the drug companies told them it was non-addictive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that opiate education, like I don't know what all programs are for opiate education in today's school. I know that my community is fairly royal, and it is just, it's rampant. It's rampant, and it all starts with Percocets and things of that nature, and it moves up to heroin or whatever they can get their hands on that's cheap. And education, kids don't. I don't really feel like they know what they're getting themselves into. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
because it's fine. Doctors give them out. Right. It's not like we're drinking.
Right.
We're just using something that's used for medical purposes.
Right.
And they don't understand the withdrawals or the, once a physical addiction kicks in, how you can't get rid of it. And it, so I think that education, the whole thing about, I think that's something we can all agree on. And I think that anytime, and Charlie mentioned it, anytime you see a politician start playing the kid card, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking
bullshit. It is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really good way to get your agenda, because there's no argument. There's no argument against it. You know what I mean? You wasn't going to say fuck kids. You can't say that. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. And quite frankly, it all boils down to it's tax revenue. And it's states trying to balance their budget and losing tax revenue. And I get it. I don't want my state to go broke. I get it. Yeah. But there has to be an alternative. And working with people who are trying to quit smoking and things like that would probably be a better idea than trying to just ban it and put everything.
That's exactly.
Of course, yes.
But
and I'll pay taxes on my stuff. I don't mind. Yeah. I do it every day.
Right.
And there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about from Heavy last night. It wasn't really related to the issue, but Heavy mentioned that Spencer had been at school and sent him a picture on Instagram, a funny pistachio advertisement, and all I could think to myself, like, we have so many friends and stuff where our kids are all the same age. They would all kill to be the one that their kids are sending Instagram messages to at school. It just shows what a close relationship that they have.
And we do it all the time. Like, we are constantly talking. I know kids are supposed to have cell phones at school, but they have they can bring it, and then they can, when they have downtime, they can talk on it. But we always send stuff like that. Even today, Andy's on his way to Hattiesburg. He still sent Spencer a message, even though he can't get on his phone, but we know he peeps at it. Yeah. Even like, I hope you have a good day, bud. I love you. Be the best you can be today. And that's what he sends him all the time. Like, he doesn't want to be one of these parents that isn't close with his child, because, that has a big effect. There's so many kids that at their school that their parents could care less what they're doing.
Yeah, I was fortunate because I had a dad that was like that. I mean, my dad was literally my best friend, and it wasn't one of those relationships where the parents and the kids are friends and the parents don't parent. But I was just that close with my dad, where he was my best friend. Mm-hmm. I lost him when I was 17 and had some rough years, but he's the reason I'm the person that I am today. And I just thought that said a whole lot about Spencer and Heavy's relationship.
Yeah.
The fact that they're that close, I thought that was amazing.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'll tell you, Spencer's a lucky guy. He's a lucky kid. He really is, because he's got two fantastic people in his life that care about him. And
he's really lucky he didn't get his ass beat.
Nothing more than you can ask for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. There's parents that we all know that just been like, oh, fuck it.
Right. I know two of them right now. Yeah.
I spent a lot of years drinking, and a lot of times shit like that would happen, and I wasn't a dad. I just went,
yep.
Fuck it. You know what I mean? So I think that, you learn a lesson, and the thing is, you always think, like, especially with my kids, like, I always think, God, I'm glad you're not as bad as I was.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Shit that I did.
Say that all
God.
Holy shit.
They always say you get it tenfold, but I'm like, we're in for a world of hell if they act like me and Andy. Good God.
Right? You always thank God that you're not as bad.
Because I know what I did. And I can only imagine what he did.
I tagged Heavy in chat last night, and I was like, man, if that's Spencer's speed bump, y'all got it good.
Hell yeah. All right, Charlie, so we got something that's near and dear to your heart. We're going to talk about. I got it on the list here. I don't know if you want to talk about it or not. I want to talk about it. It's you had a little football game this weekend. Was there a little football game this weekend you saw, Charlie?
Yeah, the Saints game.
Saints played this weekend? Who'd they play against?
Last weekend.
Who'd they play against, Charlie? Give us some background here.
When they played the Rams.
They played the Rams, did they? What,
Yeah,
did they win? Did they win
the
that
Los
game?
Angeles Rams.
They played Los Angeles Rams. I didn't know Los Angeles had a team. They have a team? Hollywood?
Apparently they do.
Did they win? Did they beat the Rams?
Nobody in Los Angeles knew that they had a team either until this fucking weekend.
They're all showing up at Dodger Stadium looking for a game. What happened? So there was
the Saints didn't win. The Saints worked really hard, and some son of a bitch that hasn't done shit came in and stole the game away from them.
What? Okay, so I actually watched the game, and I'm familiar with what happened. Can you give us in a nutshell what happened in this football game? Now, there's a bigger. So, guys, if you don't like football, just stick around because there is more to this conversation than just the game. So
yeah, and just so the guys in chat know, I know more about this issue than I do a lot of football issues, and it is near and dear to my heart. I'm glad Scott brought it up. He may regret it later. But basically, it was a great game. It was a very close game. Most of the game, it stayed a close game. It went into overtime. There was a play made, one of those last minutes, last few seconds kind of a thing. A play was made. The Saints almost got right to the line in overtime, tied up, and the ref missed a call. There was a play made where there should have been some interference called. A flag should have been thrown. The ref missed it. No flag was thrown. It was blatantly obvious, but due to the NFL rules, you can't go back and review it because there was no flag thrown at that moment.
Wow.
So now that it's been realized, it's one of those too late kind of things because you can't go back and armchair quarterback it.
Well, yeah, you can't go back and change the outcome
in
of the
the
game.
NFL.
They're already going to Super Bowl.
Right.
The Rams are. Yeah. I think
go ahead.
In your opinion, was it a missed call, or was there's something else behind that?
In my opinion, there's probably something else behind it. And I'm not saying that the game was scripted. I'm not saying anyone knew that it was going to get into that last play. But from the research that I've done, just strictly based on the empirical data, some things lead me to be way more suspicious than I was before this incident happened. And when you start looking at the numbers and talking to people in Los Angeles that didn't even know Los Angeles had the Rams now, Los Angeles is the second biggest television market. And New Orleans is almost non-existent in the television market.
Probably same with Columbus. It's probably about the same.
I could probably buy a Vape hot tub commercial in New Orleans for a few $100.
We can budget that.
Really? That's crazy.
It's not that cheap, but it's a cheap market, and there's a huge untapped market that the NFL didn't reach in Los Angeles. And now that the Rams are going to the Super Bowl and all this drama happened, all of a sudden Los Angeles is selling Rams merchandise like crazy.
Smart move. That'd be a smart business move, wouldn't you think?
It would.
Yeah. If I was the CEO of the company, I would certainly want it to go that way.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
Right. From a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Brittany, do you watch football?
I watch football, yes. Do I keep up with numbers? Not really. I like watching the game. I get into the game, like whoever's playing, I'll just pick a team usually. If I'm not like for them, like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go for this team right now. And if they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. I mean, let's get off my back, But there's a couple ones that I like, but yes, I do watch it.
So there's a whole thing. I guess what I'm getting at with this is whether that call was malicious, whether it was missed on purpose, or if it was just an accident. And I think it brings up an interesting conversation in that there's so anytime there's a lot of money on something, it always gives me the idea when things like that happen, like, where's the money go? You know what I mean?
Are we looking at a sports competition, or are we looking at a business?
At a business.
We're looking at
a business.
And quite frankly, it's like I see a lot of football games now, and I'm going to give you an example of a team that I watch every week. I watch Ohio State football, and I watch it religiously. And I'll tell you this, and this is as a fan, huge fan, lifelong, Ohio State gets calls. They always get calls. Always, every game. And I look at Ronick and I'll be like, that wasn't a pass interference, or that was one, they didn't call it. And we'll just like sit there and I'll be like, it's like they give them the game a lot of times. And I think it's because Ohio State has such a huge market share in that, they know that if they get them to a good bowl game, that it's going to bring in a lot of revenue. People are going to show up. People are going to watch it. People are going to buy tickets and merchandise, and people are going to flood that town. So they want them in these big bowl games. It's marketable for the NCAA. Right. There's a video, and Charlie and I had this conversation earlier, but there's a really interesting YouTube channel. And what this guy does is he looks at playoff games. And the premise of the channel is he basically says that since 2006, the NFL has been fixing games.
Yes.
Fixing playoff games. And he goes through and he'll show a game. And like with the game that I watched the other day was the San Francisco versus Seattle. And it was like from like 7 years ago. And he goes through and he shows all the things in the game that made Seattle win the game. And if you watch the game, it's like Seattle didn't do anything, but they ended up winning. And like San Francisco kept doing these things. And like there's pass interference calls. There's also ball marks, which is our big thing, that they'll mark the ball ahead of where it was for a first down. Right. And then the clock keeps going, so it's just rush, get back up to the line and go. Where they don't question it, they just keep going, but they just keep giving them first downs to keep the drives alive, taking away turnovers. There was another play that I don't know if you guys saw, New England versus who did they beat this weekend? New England beat Kansas City. Is that right? I think it was Kansas City.
The Chiefs.
Yeah, and the last, one of the last plays of the game, Tom Brady threw a pick. But they called an offsides and then brought it back. And I swear to God, I didn't see the flag come out. I didn't see it come out. They say it. I mean, they didn't replay it to show it. You know what I mean? So they call offsides. They take the interceptions away. That interception would have sealed the game for Kansas City. That was the win. And then, of course, Tom Brady does his thing, and they go down, kick a field goal, and then they end up winning in overtime. But it's like it's just things like that. Like I truly believe that there is. Like the tuck rule. Do you guys remember the tuck rule when Tom Brady fumbled and they said that he threw the ball and took it away from Oakland and took so there's all kinds of things in the playoffs
that's what's gotten me. And I'll be honest with you. When it first came up, I was one of the few people that I know that said, I'm going to have to look into it further to know if it was just an honest mistake. I mean, I look at it kind of like the review thing. Nobody's perfect 100% of the times. And until you find a way to make it strictly binary ones and zeros, there's human impact. But then when you go back and look at the last 10 years of plays that were quite subjective, and you look at the patterns, it really makes you realize that there's a lot more besides just these two teams that are playing against each other every game.
Right. See, my opinion
There's a lot of money behind these things.
There's a ton of money. And to make money, you have to win.
Yeah.
My opinion is.
Unless you're the Browns.
Well, it's already scripted. It's scripted. They know who's going to win and who's going to go to the Super Bowl or whatever. They already know who's going to win. And I think the teams play the first couple games to play, get the people watching, get the stamina built up, and then you get to the end games, like towards the end of the season, and that's when you make everybody fizzle out that's not going to go.
Yeah.
So I honestly do think that they have, say a coach doesn't want to coach at this place anymore. And I know people are like, Brittany, this is stupid. You're stupid. Whatever. Clemson. This is college football. Clemson and Alabama. Where the hell was Alabama during that game? I'm not a Bama fan. Okay. They play so good. I know you can have bad games. I understand you can have bad games.
That was weird.
But you play so good all year long, and then you come and fuck up at this one. Sorry, can I say the F word on this one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, you can.
Okay.
That's all you want.
Fucking right.
I just said fucking. I said, you say the F word? So where were they? And that makes me think, does Saban want out? Does he not want to play with this team anymore? Did he get a better offer somewhere else? So he's going to go ahead and mess up this game so he
did that.
Right. So he can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it is a business. I mean, obviously it is a business, you know, and places have to make money. The teams have to make money. The coaches have to make money. And so does everybody else that's involved with putting on this sport.
And I will tell you this.
I'll tell you who really has to make money? The advertisers.
Hell yes, because they shell out a shit ton.
That's who runs it.
They put out so much money to advertise. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what really surprised me is there was a big economic impact to New Orleans by this decision that was made. And there was an economic impact for the Super Bowl. Atlanta's going to suffer because of the people who are going to go from New Orleans, who are going to go to the Super Bowl regardless, that aren't now. I mean, you can see it in the ticket prices drop.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the NFL broadcasters and what I've seen on Sports Center say people aren't going to travel from LA to the Super Bowl like Saints fans would.
Nope.
You know,
people
whether or not
probably won't either because they've been to so many. It's like
right in New Orleans, they'll show up in Atlanta party for the Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
So there's a whole lot of bars that have boycotted in New Orleans, bars and hotels that have boycotted the Super Bowl. And there's a whole lot of anti-Super Bowl parties of people making sure that the NFL doesn't get their money for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah. I saw where M. Gunther said, well, Saban already made a deal with the devil, so I doubt he paid off the refs. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying then. I'm not saying then.
You're right.
You know, I'm not saying he paid them, but I'm saying something happened for them to say, okay, well, Alabama's not going to win this game. We're going to give it to Clemson. So I don't know what it was, but there has to be something to make them lose because they're a damn good team. They really are.
I'll tell you, you know, the only thing I'll say about Clemson is we played them last year, and Brittany, we were pretty decent. I'm talking about Ohio State. They were pretty decent, and I've never seen Ohio State get manhandled like that.
Clemson's damn good too. Yeah, yeah.
And it was crazy. Like I think they shut us out. I can't remember the exact score. I think it was like 37-0, and Ohio State never gets beat 37-0.
But it's so weird that they shut everybody out up until this point.
That Alabama did, yeah. It was kind of. I figured Alabama would roll them. I really did.
Yes.
And yeah, so it was a huge surprise to me that Clemson won that game, and I don't know. I didn't watch it that closely, and quite frankly, I mean, I root against Alabama just because they always win.
Oh, I do too.
I root against the Patriots, not because I don't like them. It's just because they always win. And it's like I want somebody else to win. You know what I mean?
I get that. Yeah. But hang on, real quick. I want to give a shout out. We got another celebrity in the house. Heavy Metal Vapors in the chat.
Oh, Mr. Heavy Metal. I didn't see him.
I've never heard of him.
Heavy said, "Hello, beautiful." So
he's talking to you, Charlie and Scott.
No, he called you out. He made sure you were specific.
Hey, how you doing?
So thank you for coming by, Heavy.
Thank you, Heavy. Good to see you, man.
Hashtag BlackCat fam. Hashtag Heavy Hitters.
Yes. Yeah.
Hashtag Vape Wife Militia.
That's right, the militia. They're fucking army, Charlie. They're
right.
Fucking, and we all have chest hair millionaire.
Exactly.
I had dinner with a chest hair millionaire last week. Sunday.
Was it good? You had fun?
Fantastic. Yeah, dude.
Good.
Awesome. We had a great time.
It's awesome. Yeah, he is.
We had a great time. Yeah, we're gonna start a band. Did I tell you that?
Sorry for interrupting the show, but I wanted to shout out Heavy. I appreciate him coming.
Oh, you're fine.
I never watched the chat. Everybody knows that, so I never see anybody come in.
That's me. Like I either stare at chat the whole time and like I'm trying to watch what's going on, or I'll pay attention over here to.
It's impossible.
Heavy just got lucky because I can't watch it the whole time, but
yeah.
Maybe he's been reposting it for an hour. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are coming up to the top of the hour here. Fantastic show. Fantastic. Yes. Literally, I think it's funny. We might break the YouTubes today with this show.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for getting in the hot tub with us today, Brittany.
Yes, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. It's
good conversation.
When else do you get, you get in the hot tub with two,
I know. I never get to. I get in trouble if I do.
Me too. Me too. I have to delete this episode as soon as it goes up.
Exactly. Like, who the hell was that?
All right. Hey, do you guys got any parting words? Charlie, you want to start us off?
Thanks for all you guys for coming and watching. That's the biggest thing. We need all your support. I posted in chat earlier. Thank you, but I really appreciate it. Make sure you check out the Vape Wives on Saturday nights. Great show. And it goes by Central Time, which is fucking awesome. So check out the Vape Wives.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's it. Come back and see us, the Vape Hot Tub, every Thursday.
Brittany.
Yes. Thank y'all for having me on. And
thank you.
Thank you for everybody watching. And this has been fun. Come see us Saturday. We usually go around 9 Central Standard. Yeah. On the Vape Wives. That's the name of the channel. Come check us out if you hadn't seen us.
Absolutely. All right. And hey, I want to say thanks for everybody showing up. Absolutely. Yeah. We have so much fun doing this. And it's such a nice thing, you know, doing the Charlie and I have been doing this show and getting Brittany on here. Thank you so much for coming on, Brittany. We got to have you back.
Yeah, I'll come back. I love it. Yeah.
Absolutely. We got to have you back. So anyway, tomorrow on your Vape at 5 is Rigged Friday. So make sure you show up. If you have not reposted a picture from ModifiedStar from his Instagram with the hashtag BlackCatFam and at ModifiedStar, please do so. So you're entered to win the grand prize. We got a grand prize.
That's right. Big giveaway.
Grand prize.
Ooh.
Big prize.
Nice.
3 sets of coils from ModifiedStar. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So you get 3 sets of coils if you do that, and they're really good. I looked at them yesterday. There's all kinds of good ones in there.
Nice.
Nice little package. So
can I win?
You can win. Yeah, you can win. I rig it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You can win. I'll rig it.
You rig it.
No problem. Everything I do is rigged. It's all rigged. I'm pretty determined.
Everybody's stuff's rigged.
Don't worry, the NFL does it too.
Yeah. They just get paid a lot more.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow on the Vape at 5. If you're in recovery, stay strong, and I promise I will too. Bye.
Bye.